Okay, and turn on.
Yes, we can see your video or your camera if you're wondering, Omolola.
Yeah. Okay, so just give me a minute. This is all messy right now. Just 1 minute. Okay, so let me share my screen. You know what? Let's just share the whole screen. No. Okay. All right. So sorry about all of that.
No worries, we can see your screen now.
Yes. Okay, so good afternoon. It's afternoon over there, right? Somebody's.
Yes, it's afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. It's afternoon here also in Nigeria. I was here with us just before the break and I saw quite a number of people, but just now, I don't know, I think people went to lunch and they're not yet back, or what?
Yes, we have a number of people here in person, and then the ones online, obviously, they went to lunch, and probably they're going to be back as we go along the session.
Okay. So that's fine. All right. Good afternoon once again, everyone. My name is Omolola Alfred, and I'm so excited to be here in Durban, of course, from the comfort of my home in Nigeria. Okay, so this session we'll be looking at components. We'll look at what a component is and why you should start with a component, why or how a component can actually help you in your Power Apps journey. All right. So a little about me. So because this session is just for 30 minutes, we'll be doing, a little modification to what we'll be doing today. And I have no slides just so that, we can really get something done. All right. So yes, my name is Omolola, and what I do daily is just to help. So I help organizations transform their manual processes, and I help organizations turn all their manual processes into digital ones, basically change their mode of operation from manual to digital. And I really love sharing knowledge, like I delight in sharing knowledge, and that is why in 2022 December, I was awarded Microsoft Most Valuable Professional. So yes, that's like just a little bit about me, but we are not here to learn about me, right? We are here to do learn components. Okay, so straight into it. I'm going to just go ahead and open another Power Apps. So we have in Microsoft Power Apps, we have two types of components. And that's what I want to show us. So now I'm in the Power Apps Studio. If I come to apps here, you would see these are all my apps that are built, right? And you would see component libraries. I don't have anything in my component library. So majorly, we have two types of components. We have the global component and we have the local component. So when you want to create a global component, you would come to component libraries, just like we are here, and you create a component. So you might be asking or wondering, what is the difference between a global component and a local component? So for a global component, the same way you can share your application with other people, all right? If I come to share, I can share this app with everyone in my organization. So like I said, I was here before we went on break, and I saw that the keynote speaker, gave an overall explanation about Power Platform, why you should use Power Platform, why Power Platform is important in this day and age, and also Oluwatobi Yusuf and Mayowa explained Power Platform, and they went a little bit beyond what the keynote speaker did. So I'm just going to take us a little further now. So while they were explaining, they told us that for Power Platform, or when you're building an app in Power Platform, you are building for an organization, right, within the context of a tenant, okay? So when you want to share the same application, you would be able to share the application with people in your tenant. So I want to share this app. I can just go straight and look for somebody in my tenant, Oluwatobi Yusuf, and just share with him, right? The same thing with a global component. When you create a component in a component library, you can share it with another developer, right? Or anyone in your organization. So what the person will do is the person will be able to leverage on your own component that you have done. But for today, we'll just be looking at the local components. And how do we access local components? You don't go from component libraries. You go into the app that you want to build. So I already have an application here that I spinned up, and I'll just show us over, right? Okay, so because I have it open here, so it will tell me that there's somebody in that application. So I just override. Now, this is my application. I have built this. I just, put up an application, put up something together so that we would see how a component work, right? So you can create different types of components. You can create a side navigation component. You can create header component. So because of our time, I have about 21 minutes more. We will just, create header components, explain and you see why you should actually use a component. And without understanding, you can, go ahead and build different types of components. So a header component is simpler than a side navigation component. Okay, so now this is my application, right? And I already have a component created. So I'll just show us what we are going to create. So this is a very beautiful component. For this component, we used color gradients, we use HTML text and all of that. But our focus is learning how to create a component, okay? So now, for you to create a component, what you need to do is, let's go back. So this is your app, okay? In your app, you have screens and you have components. Now, like I said, we are creating the local component. So once you create this component, you'll be able to use it across all the pages of your application, but you cannot share these components with another person. And you can also not use these components in another application. So the components will only be used in this application, Learn Power Apps component, and it will be, but I'll be able to use it across all the screens, okay? So if I go to my components, I already have one component created already. And all I just need to do is to click on new component. Now, it is best practice that you rename your any control that you're bringing into your Power Apps, you rename them. So I'm just going to name this Durban component. Okay, so yeah, we have Durban component. And when you are creating your component, okay, you have to adjust the height and the width, okay? And you would see why we are doing all of that. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to properties and I am going to go to the height of my application. So the height of my application, the height of this component is going to reference my application. So I'm going to say app.height, okay? Meaning that give me the height of the app. This is my application. Give me the height of this app since I want to use it in this application, all right? Then I would go to the width and say, so I want okay. Sorry, 1 minute. So actually the width, I'm going to say the width should be app dot. The width should reference the width of my application. So I'm going to say app dot width. Yes, so it's longer than what used to be there because it's referencing your app. But for my height, because like I said, we're going to create just header component. For my height, I am going to not say app.height. Header is just small. So I am going to say, let's just make this 115. Okay. Yes, we are creating an header. Okay. 115. Now, this is just the screen of the component. You have to put things inside the screen, to form a component. All right. Now, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to add image. So if you don't know where your image is, when you come to insert, you don't know, maybe it's in popular custom, just go to your search bar and type in image. So I want to bring in image. Now, I want that this image is going to be round, perfect shape. I want it to be round. So what I will do, the size, the width of this image is 100. The height is 100. For you to get a perfect round shape, you would say 100 plus 100, that's 200, divided by 2, which is 100. So you make your border radius what? You make your border radius 100. So border radius, I am going to say 100. And this is going to be round, perfect shape. Now, I want this image to show me the picture of anybody that is logged in. So I just say user dot image. User dot image. So this is my image. Now, another thing that I want to do, I want this to give me the name of the person that is in my application. All I just need to do, bring in a text label, put it here. And instead of text that is here, hard coded, I would just say no, user, the full name. So give me the full name of anyone that is logged in, all right? Now, the next thing that you would do is you can decide to add color or to your header. So you can decide to add color, and all you just need to do is go to this component and go to the fill property, and you can just do as you want. If you don't know the RGB value, right, you could just come here and select any color. Okay, so this is coming to shape. Now, the next thing that you want to do is to, this is header, right? Header would have a label to show that, okay, this is, for instance, I have 3 screens here. So when the header is here, I want it to tell me that this is the form screen. When the header is here, I want it to tell me that this is view, submission, probably all items. When the header is here, I want it to tell me modify an item or something like that, right? Dynamic label, basically. So in your components, what will I do? Component has 2 major types of properties. We have the output property, we have the input property, okay? So all we'll just do is come to custom property. So you'll be the one to define and to create your own property for this component. So new custom property, I would say header title. Okay, so header title, and now property type. Like I said, you can have input property or output property. So I'm going to select the input property. So data type. Now we have many types of data type. Number. So what is the type of data that you want this say label now to show? So it is of type text. All right, and I'm going to click on create. Now, if you come here, you would see that we now have header title, okay? If you go to Durban components and you check the properties of Durban components, you will see the header title, all right, here as part of the properties, and we just created this header title. Okay, so I'll be rounding up in like the next 5 minutes so that we would get questions. All right, so this is header title that we just created. And the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to select my component again and insert a label, a text label. So you notice that anytime you are inserting a text label, it comes with it comes coded saying text, right? So what we are going to do is we are going to now reference the header component, the header title that we just created. So we would say Durban components. Durban component. So which of the properties of the Durban component do I want to reference in here? I would say dot, and I will select the header title. Now you will notice that this is back to text. Why? If you select your Durban components and you come here and you select the header title, you will notice that the header title here is text. So if I change the value of the header title to I am in Durban, okay, we will notice that this will change I'm in Durban, but it is not so visible. So we are going to change the color of this text to white. So there's a property that's in charge of that. The property is called the property color. So select this and go to and look for color C, color. Now, if you know the RGB value, right, you can slot in the RGB value, which I do know, 255. But for people that don't know that, let's just make it very simple. Just type in white. And let's see. Okay, so it wants me to reference color. That's fine. So we can just look for a particular, say, color dot. Let's pick any of this. If we say aqua, it's going to change to aqua. Let's see if Power App has white. Yes, it does. So color dot white, and this would be pure white. So another thing that I want to do to this is I want to turn it to semi-bold. Okay, and I want to make this big, just in case whatever label that I'm adding is big. And another thing, I want to centralize it and put it in the middle. So you will notice that for everything I'm doing, I am not writing anything complex. Power Apps gives you the opportunity to, you know, the properties that you are writing, the functions that you're writing rather, or let's call them expressions, they are very simple. If you're doing something complex, yes, it might get complex, right? But it's so simple. It's in English and it's all logic. It's basically logic, right? So now I've changed this to white. I'll do the same thing for this. I will just come here and I'll go to color. And we've seen that. So now for this other one, I referenced white, right? I said color.white. But for this one, we are just going to put in an RGB value 255, 255, just so you see that you can either do this or you do, you just write white if you don't know the RGB value. Now, the next thing that we want to do is, let's do the same thing we did there. We just make this gold, okay? Now, let's see this in action. We're going to go into your app, our app in this case, and we're going to bring in Durban components. Now, you'll notice that here I am in Durban, all right? Let's see what will happen when we get to the screens. So initially, we were going to do side components, but side components is going to take us a longer time than 30 minutes. So if you're doing, definitely if you're doing side components, the side component is going to be here, and that's why I've shifted my form. So what I'm just going to do now is I'm going to make provision for, so I'm going to make provision I'm going to make provision for what? For the header components. All right. So now what we want to do is you go to insert and you go to custom. You can see if you have 10 components here, you see all the 10 components. Here we have Durban components, what we just created. And there it is. You can adjust your form. So now, why is components important? So quickly, let's just bring in Durban components, okay? Durban components. So we'll bring in Durban components everywhere. Durban components, insert, custom, Durban components. All right. Now you might be wondering, okay, yes, I can always just, put up this instead of using a component. Another way that you can do this is just create a label, put all this together and just duplicate it. But we're going to do something and you will see the beauty of components. Okay. Yes. So now let's assume that the person you're building this application for, say the organization, if you're a consultant like me, the organization that you're building this for says that you need to quickly change the color. Let's assume that their brand color has changed from wine, which is my best color, by the way. I've changed from wine to this color. Okay. So first, let me get so I'm just going to get the RGB value of this copy. So let's assume that they say, oh, Lola, we have changed our brand color and it's no more wine. Let's change it to this color. Okay. All you just need to do is go to your components. Now, let's verify. In all of the pages, we have this component, right? All you just need to do, go to your components, go to Durban components, which is our components, and just go to the fill, and you slot in this RGBA value. So now you can either put in for fill, you can either put in RGBA value, you put in the color, say white or blue or whatever color if it is right here in Power Apps, or you can get, this is X value. So this is how you write X value, color value, then you slot in this code and the color has changed here. If you come back to your screen, you would notice that this color has changed on every of the app that you have. Let's go to components and just, change the color, is too bright. So if you take this away, you go to fill property and you just, look for a color that is subtle. So another thing is you can decide not to just use any of these colors. So I can just look for something reddish and go to custom and just, pick something, any colors, something subtle. Yeah, let's use this. So I have changed this on my components. If I come to my screen, guess what? It has changed on every of my screen. So another thing that, aside from the fact that component helps you to create apps faster, right? You can make change, change it on the components, it reflects across all of your screens. But another beautiful thing that component actually allows you to do is that it allows standardization across all your screen. If I reduce the size of anything in my components, if I reduce this in my components, or I change the radius to, let's say, 80 here. All right, okay, you're not really seeing it. Let's say that the radius is just 10. Good. If I come to my screen, across my screen, the radius has changed. So it allows standardization. Now let us see the beauty of we're going to look at the beauty of components in another way, which is if I come to form and I select Durban, I can go to the header title. And instead of I am in Durban, that is showing across all my screens, I will just say for this one is form screen. This is my form screen. Okay. Yeah, form screen. This is still I am in Durban. You can do the same thing. Go to that property, select either component, that's Durban component that you have created, and go to the header title. Instead of I am in Durban, you can name this all items, and select the component again. And instead of I am in Durban, change this to edit a record. Amazing. So what have we been able to do in this session? We have been able to look at the input property types of, we've been able to look at the input property types of components. We've also seen the beauty of component that it allows standardization, it allows modification, and it allows change across all screens. So this is where we're going to stop. I'm not so happy that we don't have much time. Maybe the next global power platform will have like an hour so that we can do more. All right, I'm just going to take questions. Yeah, I'm going to just take questions if I have any, but if I don't have any question, then I'm just going to go ahead and allow the next speaker to, show us what he has for us. All right, do we have any question?
Thanks, Omolola. So in person, we don't have any questions, and it seems like your session was quite straightforward and lovable. So thank you so much for showing us components. And to be honest, I've never worked with components on Power Apps before. I've just built my screens and tried to customize each form on a different way. So I'm gonna be using this soon when I'm doing my apps as well. So thank you so much, Omolola. I don't know about the guys online, so I just want to check if you guys also have questions for Omolola, and if you don't, then we can have Thomas to take us through Power BI and user experience in Power BI. Thank you so much once again, Omolola.
Okay, yeah, thank you so much, Lisa, and thank you to all the organizers. Thank you for having me. Yeah, bye.
Bye. Thomas, I don't know if you're ready.
Hello.
Yes, Thomas. I can hear you barely though.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for having me. So I would go ahead and then share my screen.
Yes, please.